Welcome, everybody, to Live at the Hive, Digital Marketing from the Trenches. I am your host, Dan Nedelko.
I'm Stacy DeSantis.
And I'm Ivan Imonovich.
And my voice changer's going crazy here. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, I kind of missed the music at the beginning.
Oh, well, no, there it is. Welcome to Live at the Hive, episode 210. There you go. That was more fun.
DJ Danny Nedelko in the house.
DJ Danny is in the house. Well, welcome back, everybody, from your vacation. I hope you all had a restful one. I think that was the first time we had taken a couple of weeks off in a long time. Mm-hmm. But a big part of that was just how it all falls, right? The holidays fell on the weekends and on the Friday. So we decided that we were going to just charge up our batteries a little bit. How about you guys? Did you get a good rest there?
Oh, yeah. It was great. It was glorious. Didn't do too much because of, the vid, but,
Yeah.
it was good. It was really low-key.
Very good, very good.
Caught up on a lot of movies and stuff, watched a lot of shows, and just rested, like you said. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
But we are getting back at it, right? We've been diving in all week, shaking out the cobwebs, getting back into the swing of things. And today we are going to be talking about 14 almost free apps that you can use for your content creation superpowers. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Alrighty, so let's just dive right into it. One of the things is, especially in the world of digital marketing, content creation is not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and what we've managed to find over the years, I really guess, are some really handy, very easy to use apps, most of which are free or have some level of a freemium version. Some are paid, but they come in at a pretty reasonable cost. We're also going to talk about levels of different tools that you can use, everything from super simple right on up to everything in the kitchen sink inside of it. So, we've got some great ones. Basically plumbers. I guess you could look at it that way. Sure, why not? All right, chat. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Sachita. Welcome, Brandon. Welcome, April and Courtney. Welcome. All righty.
So,
let's just, Oh, go ahead, Yvonne.
That was it. That's all I was going to
say. All right, so first up here is one of my favorites. Definitely... I use this one every single day, pretty much. It's called Jarvis. It's Jarvis.ai. Really does a great job. You can't rely on it solely to kind of do everything for you, but I think it's a great way to get variations. It's an AI-powered writing platform, and actually they have a Grammarly integration now as well. And if you go to Jarvis.ai, which is a great name, what you will be able to see is something along the lines of this. You've got a whole ton of templates up here. The long-form assistant, the AIDA framework, PAS framework, Content Improver. And when you go into this, so we'll just look at Content Improver real quickly. What you can see here is you can put your content in here up to 600 characters and get some outputs, and also customize it with tone of voice.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a huge thing for us, since we write a lot of things for the certain clients, and then we kind of lose track, or we don't know what we want to say anymore. And Jarvis is really there to kind of help give us some new ideas. And even though sometimes it can be out of the park and a little bit wacky, you can always build something interesting and new off of that. So it's actually a really great tool.
We're always on track, Yvonne.
Yeah, always.
No, but it definitely helps. Like sometimes, I think anybody who's a writer or has to write copy for a living, or even if you're just, in charge of someone's social account, or you're running your own social account, sometimes it's like, I have this really great piece of content, but what do I want to say about it? And it's kind of like looking at a blank piece of paper. So this just kind of gets those creative juices going for you.
Yeah, it totally does. And I don't know if you can really necessarily see my screen. perfectly, but there's some other interesting things. They keep adding different features here, but engaging questions. You've got a video title editor, video script outlines, video topic ideas, which it will pull from various sources as well. So you can use this tool as a way to help get the creative juices flowing as well. And really, when it comes down to it, you know, the one thing that we talk about is tool sets and standard operating procedures and being as efficient as you can while maintaining that quality. And Jarvis certainly goes a long way to helping that out. It is, I believe there is a free version. There is definitely a series of upgrades, but your mileage may vary. Whatever you decide that fits your budget. But if you use a tool like this, I would suggest it's a strong investment for your content creation efforts.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've used this a lot for creating like Google ads and like our ads framework. You know, sometimes it's like how many different ways you say weddings. You know what I mean? Like, and it just helps you get that variety. And then like I would say another honorable mention that of a tool that's similar to this is copy.ai as well. That works really well too. But Jarvis is fabulous. It's really great at capturing different tone of voice, especially if you are working with various different clients and they have different tones of voice. It sometimes can be, as humans, it's hard to switch gears, you know, so it can help you there as well.
Yeah, totally. All right, so moving on, next up.
Yeah, so Photopea is a great thing. So as somebody with a little bit of a design background and knowing that with Illustrator and Photoshop and with all the Adobe products, they become very expensive and it's a lot of difficulty trying to get a hold of those things. So Photopea is just one all-in built-in tool with those few tools to use that you get to, all you have to do is upload your file into it and you have all the tools available. So there's Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign, so you'll be able to create whatever you want right from there, and it's a absolutely free tool just right online.
Perfect. No, that's a great tip. You know, yeah, Photoshop and Creative Cloud can become very expensive tools. Some people don't like the idea that you're paying sometimes $800 a year for the full suite of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely, is it Photopea or Photopea?
I do not know.
Internally, we call it Photopea for some reason. But yeah,
it might be Photopea. It could be Photopea.
I have no idea. I have no idea. It's kind of like Semrush versus SEMrush, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good. No, it's a great free tool. And the other nice thing is it's web-based, so no big installations. You can do it if you're mobile, while you're on the road, whatever it might be. And also really great, has a sketch integration, which for, again, the more design savvy in the audience is a very popular design tool. The GIMP as well, and raw images from cameras as well. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, April loves this.
Yeah. April's saying she needs to resize a graphic. She can do it without bothering Justin, creative director. Yeah, and I think this is that brings up a really great point about a lot of these tools is you may have an entire design team, etc., but they have workflows. They may not be as responsive as you need to be, and these tools can help you just get things over the line a little bit more quickly and with less headache. And, you know, it goes without saying, obviously, you know, for the first one, for Jarvis.ai, you may be saying, yeah, but there's Grammarly. That's slightly different. And in the case of Photopea or Photopea, your mileage may vary, whatever you want to call it. We know there's Canva, for example, which is kind of like the unicorn that everybody knows about, but we're also trying to offer up some different alternatives to you. But certainly we recognize that Canva's there, but we didn't want to come out with this live and just be showing up the tools that everybody and their best friend already knows.
Yeah, it would be kind of a Captain Obvious moment, we felt. You know, like, thanks, Captain. And we're like, yeah, no, what else can you use? So Photopea
sure.
or whatever.
All right. Next up is Placelt. So Placelt's really great for mock-ups, They have video design templates that you can use. But initially what it started out was basically putting your designs onto a t-shirt or onto a mobile device or whatever it might be. Really great for mocking things up. It's really kind of turning into a tool along the lines of a Canva, at least heading somewhat in that same direction. I don't know. Do either of you have anything else to say on Placeit? It's a very handy tool.
Not really. I, to be honest, have not used this one a lot. Yvonne might have, though. He does more of sometimes our graphic work. So, yeah.
No, yeah, I haven't had the pleasure either of using Placeit as well. No, I've used other apps though. I understand, like, it's great for what it does in being able to mock up, because I know mockups, and especially if you do search around, there are mockups that can be outwards very expensive mockups. It's very hard to get free ones that are that you can actually use. So it's actually a really great tool to use for people that don't want to break that bank.
Especially from like an e-commerce standpoint, like, you know, are you going to hire a model, take photographs like that? There's a lot of labor and cost involved with that. Placeit allows you to actually mock up your t-shirts and, you know, your pieces that way if you're into retail as well. So that's a really nice, like a little cherry on the sundae, if you will. Yeah,
for sure. And you can see they've got hundreds upon hundreds of categories here and tags for different types of things that you can do with it. And it's they've kind of consistently been improving some of the features that they've got. So yeah, definitely worth the time to check out. Okay. Boppity bop. Oh. Next up, another one of my favorites here is Wave.Video. And just on the topic of video, obviously, videos exploded, short form snackable video, TikTok being the #1 website in the world. I think it was in December, beating out Google. So, you know, these are pretty important subjects to talk about when you talk about your content marketing and your marketing. Video has to be central to your strategy of content creation and content repurposing. Otherwise, you're missing out on a huge, huge audience that you could be engaging with. But yeah, but with Wave.Video, with video production, there are scales, and Wave.Video comes in as if you're not 100% familiar with how to edit video, it makes things quite easy. It allows you to have an editor in your web browser and gives you lots of really cool free tools. We're also going to be going up the food chain, as it were, into some more complicated solutions for you.
Yeah, but if you wanted to create, let's say you had a blog and it was a tip series, and we've talked about it quite a bit about evergreen content, repurposing content. This would be a great way to create like a real video that, you know, using one of their templates where you could repurpose a blog with top 5 tips for the new year or something of that sort, and just very easily within minutes create a video that then you can go ahead and share with your audience. And like Dan said, you know, if you're not taking advantage of TikTok or Reels, you're really missing out on a huge opportunity to reach a larger audience with your content. So give it a shot. It's super easy to work with.
Yeah. And as you can see here on my screen, I've got just a sample video from one of our previous lives. You can do very cool things that'll auto caption for you. It's got a nice captioning editor. It's got a great enhancer, so you can have the waveforms and progress bars and countdowns, overlays and stickers. So you can, you know, and direct access to stock and uploads as well. Plus a whole raft of various types of templates that you can start to work from. Okay. It's not 100% free, but it certainly comes in at a pretty reasonable amount. I believe it's like $47 a month. So.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And not to mention too, live streaming is something that's coming as well right now, that they have it in beta, so you can apply to try it. So that'll be coming soon, which is a really big thing, especially on that kind of app to maybe use, and we'll see where that goes from there.
Yeah, they've definitely made themselves stand out. So like, yeah, if you want to make a 30, 45 second promo video or an informational video and have something engaging, really focusing on that content, Wave.Video is a great place to start. But as we go, like I said, up the food chain, we start to get into some more. And again, this is not a free one. We said almost free, in air quotes, almost free. But Adobe Premiere Rush should get some honorable mention. It's really a very trimmed down video editor. And what I've noticed is it's really intended to be editing on your mobile device, which is never 100% easy, but they bundle in a lot of, lower thirds and titles and transitions. You can do basic video editing, but the cool part is if you are a Creative Cloud user, you are able to sync it up to your Creative Cloud. It will save into Adobe's Creative Cloud, and then you can go to your desktop and grab your project pretty seamlessly.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So, it's kind of one step up in a sense from what you would get with a Wave.Video.
Beauty.
Okay. Beauty. All right. Moving on. This is Brandon's find. So if you are interested in doing a little bit more with your video editing, but video editing suites can be expensive. Like I said, we had already mentioned that Premiere would come with Adobe's Creative Cloud, which can add up very quickly. I believe it's $70 a month. It would give you the access to everything. But there is OpenShot. It's an open source, 100% free video editor. You can do quite a bit with it if you want to get into it. But it also has a friendly interface. So you can import Blender 3D animations, for example, if you want to get all super fancy. But as a video editor standalone, without having to invest the hundreds of dollars, potentially thousands of dollars into another platform, you can turn to OpenShot as well.
Yeah, this is the one I use as well. And it's great for, especially if you're trying to edit video, you can detach the audio from video and you can go in and you can do certain fades and adjustments with it, which is great. Sometimes if you're taking or trying to repurpose a longer form YouTube video and maybe make it into a reel, and you're looking for that perfect audio clip and you just want to cut that piece and align it with maybe a new visual. It's really user friendly. What I said there might sound a little complicated, but you can easily follow along with the tutorial that they have there and it'll walk you right through it. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, totally. Just on that topic now, moving right up to the very top here, arguably DaVinci Resolve is one of the top professional video editing suites in the world. It's right up there and used in Hollywood, #1 post-production, has incredible color grading skills or tools. Now, the reason we give it honorable mention here is there's a 100% free to use version of DaVinci Resolve that for, I would say, 90% of the population is in fact more than enough to, like, you could go right off the deep end there. You're in full video editing territory and land and on a pro scale, and 100% free. So, you can start with a Wave.Video and work your way up. And as you start to become more proficient with this, I actually do think that from a creative standpoint, just because of the world that we live in, video editing skills are going to become increasingly important. Whether you're an agency or a marketer, is having that capability can really unleash a lot of potential for your content creation. Absolutely. One other thing that I think goes without mention, and I don't think we've done that yet. No. So we're going to be talking about, obviously, TikTok tools in this live. But it does go without, we shouldn't skip over the fact that one of the things with TikTok that was early on made it very popular is it actually has a pretty good built-in video editor where you can do clipping, special effects, you can stitch things together. And that's built right into the app. And I believe, Stacey, Instagram has come a long way as well with their video editor their native video editor, right?
Yeah, for sure. You can even add captions now to videos and edit those captions. They have the same little, when you watch TikToks or even Instagram Reels now, and you actually hear like a voiceover, so text to speech.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of cool pieces that Instagram has basically copied from TikTok. TikTok seems to be the pioneer with it, and everybody else just follows along.
Indeed, the way of social, right? That's what's happening these days.
Yeah.
All right.
I can take this one, yeah, for sure. So you probably heard of TikTok, I'm sure. So SnapTik allows you to take those videos off of that and be able to download them in without that watermark. So it makes it easier for you to be able to repurpose that kind of content onto other pieces of content you like to get onto, for Instagram, say, or Facebook, or whatever you feel like. So it's just a neat little tool that you can use and just grab videos. It's actually quite simple, really. Not much to it.
No, but simple is good.
Yeah, it really
is good.
Another piece that I like for it too, sorry Dan, is to take this tool, use it, remove the watermark, and then post it to Pinterest. Because that works really well too. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, one of the things, and this is probably more on the conspiracy theory side, but I can definitely assure you that if you upload an Instagram or a TikTok video that's branded onto Instagram, that video would never get monetized. That's part of the policy. There's also some, dirty rumors out there that Instagram has begun suppressing those TikTok videos that have the branding. I've certainly noticed on Instagram that you don't see nearly as many as you used to. So it would make sense to me. But yeah, you definitely can remove the branding and then repurpose and repost your content. That's a really big, from a content creation, and then you get into content marketing, that content repurposing is incredibly important because you will save just a fabulous amount of time if you've got source content that you can then repurpose and repost with the right context on other platforms. Alrighty. Next up, Stacy, this is yours. I know because you brought this one up, didn't you? In our production meeting? Mojo?
No.
No, who was it? Oh, was it Brandon?
It might have been Brandon. That Brandon, I'm telling you.
That kid.
So with Mojo, you can gain access to hundreds of animated templates to create eye-catching stories. So I use a similar tool. It's called Layer, but Mojo is very much the same way. So it's a great way that you can kind of level up your story game by using animated templates. You can see the different layouts here that they have in this example. And then it's just a great way to kind of, after a while, like when you're looking through social, like any good content creator will tell you, the objective is to try to stand out in the feed and be something that will make people stop and actually pay attention. So with a tool like Mojo, you can definitely level up, whether it's your reel or story game, and use one of those templates. It's a lot like Wave in that sense, where there's already a pre-existing template, but through that, you can actually maybe create something that's not been seen a million times before,
Yeah, definitely. It is a good point. These tools, and like as you say, there's Canva, and then there's Mojo, and keep going. There's so many of them out there. But these ones, like Mojo's free, doesn't even require a registration actually, and it gives you the basis with which to launch just a more highly stylized version, but keep your content, like this is about content creation. These are tools to help you, not to replace the fact that you've got to create great content, or try to, at the very least.
It just helps you level up your game a bit.
Yeah, and the one thing to mention, I think, don't know if it was mentioned, that you don't need an account to use it as well. So just easy and it's free to install. You just
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Just a quick shout out to our YouTube viewers. We've got a few out there today. And on Facebook, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the like, drop us a comment, ask any questions, or give us any feedback that you might have. We're always open for that. Alrighty. This was yours.
Comment. Yes, this was mine.
Yours. I got Mojo and MIxedCaptions mixed up in my brain.
Yeah, it's all good. I can talk about this one too. I love this one. So I don't know if we'll get to what's new today, but there is one what's new story where Twitter's actually come out with automatic captions for videos. And this is a trend that a lot of social platforms are offering now. However, sometimes they're just not the most aesthetically pleasing. Depending on which social network you're talking about, they don't always offer you the option to actually edit said captions. So if you've never done captions before, it's not uncommon for someone to be going, you know, all those little awkward pieces when people are talking. With MIxedCaption, you can remove all those pieces. You can actually choose the kind of font that you want. They have pretty much every font in the book. And you can make sure that they even have templates. So that way, when you're adding the captions, you're making sure that you're within the aspect ratio for Instagram stories and TikTok. So you're not going to get cut off by any of the other, you know, logos and such that they automatically place on your video. And what's great about this is that often when people are sometimes looking on social networks, maybe they're at work and they don't necessarily want to put the volume up. By adding captions, you're actually making your video more accessible. Or let's say you're hearing impaired. What a great way to make sure that your content's inclusive by adding captions. So I really love this tool. There is a small fee to use it without the watermark. Otherwise, you're going to have a watermark that says MIxedCaptions on your video. But it's pretty powerful and allows you to add that extra piece to your content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think actually you bring up a good point there that I think is important to mention. If anything, that this real explosion of snackable content and video. Yvonne, you're out of focus.
Yeah, I know what happened to me.
I usually just hold my hand up and then it'll come back. Is what these things have done with captioning has done for accessibility, really bring accessibility that used to be kind of a nice to have straight up into the mainstream. And I think that's, you know, the nice side benefit of that is people that do have accessibility challenges have really had a lot of that content. I don't want to speak for them, but the use of all of these captions has really opened things up quite a bit. And it makes for a more engaging experience when you can do things that MIxedCaption will pull into the mix. I think the one thing to mention is that this is only for Apple snobs out there.
Yeah,
it's like myself. What are the tannins in my water?
Yeah, one of the things I would suggest to content creators is if you can invest in an iPad. Generally, working on a phone, even I've got a Samsung S21 Ultra. It's still not the greatest. Like, I mean, the experience you can do it, but it's not the greatest experience to be editing even a 3-minute video on a mobile device.
No.
You can run into some challenges with that, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so veering away from video and over to the written word, since that's still a thing. This app has been one of my favorites for many, many years. I love it, mainly because I'm really big on reductionism when it comes to writing and keeping it as simple as possible. So the app is called Hemingway app. And, you know, to the point of the naming of it, Ernest Hemingway was really well known for what appear to be very simple, short books, but they're really great. And so they've taken that to the next level and will give you writing suggestions for clarity in writing. It's got a lot of different cool tools. It gives you a readability score. I definitely do turn to this, especially for longer form content and blog content specifically especially if you're an expert. Sometimes you can get a little long in the tooth without even realizing it and be speaking over people's heads.
Yeah.
Like Yvonne here, who used, what's the word that you use?
Egregious.
Egregious.
Yeah, that's
I was
actually.
like, where's this coming from?
There is some irony to having the most egregious ones in our head.
Yes,
on the Hemingway app slide.
I mean,
we
and
like
it's good
irony.
because the color coding is actually super helpful, right? Because there it shows that yellow is just mildly bad, and then red means that it's terrible and you need to rewrite it. But it's good to have those colors in there. It's good to have those colors in there, and that you can easily keep track of like what you need to change and what needs to be updated and things like that. So it's a very good app.
I'm the eternal optimist.
Well, I think the important thing is these apps are really, really helpful for focusing content creation and writing. It's really easy to get wrapped up and get lost. It's also easy to go down a rabbit hole when you're trying to create content and write content, and you could literally be wasting time when these tools will help you accelerate you through those moments. And they certainly do a really good job of that. The next one up for an honorable mention is OmmWriter, which is, I've been using this thing for, it's got to be since 2016, I think.
Wow.
That I first ran into it. This one is just a bit of an honorable mention. So OmmWriter is a distraction-free writing environment. It actually has background music, which is kind of like lo-fi meditation style. The thing I like about it the most is it can suppress all of your notifications. So if you want to not be disturbed in what is a very noisy world, OmmWriter is an interesting option for you to solely focus on your writing and your writing alone.
Yeah, you kind of blew my mind with that one this week. You told me about it. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I guess, second to Dan and being the resident hippie at the Hive. And so I've been using this all week. And I'm telling you, it really helps you just kind of get in the zone. Because when you're writing anything, distractions, they're no good, right? Yep. Like you need to be in that zone when you're creating longer form pieces of content. So this really helps you center.
Yeah, because I was gonna say we're writing calendars, and we're doing things, and when we come back and forth every like 5 minutes, write a post, come back because you got to deal with something else. You completely forgot. Your mind's now all in another direction, and you forget, and then your writing is going to be all over the place. And yeah, sorry, I was reading that as well as it popped up.
Sorry.
See, distraction.
Yeah, there you go. Distraction.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely. It's also nice if you're, stressed out. You're not feeling your chi centered, or your aura's colors are off, or whatever it might be. It's definitely a good way to get some focus time in, even if it's for a few minutes. Alrighty, moving right along. Next up, we have SparkToro. So we're veering a little bit away from the writing. This goes more into persona development, and the important thing here is SparkToro is a tool by Rand Fishkin, who was the founder of Moz.com, has since moved on quite a while ago. But the really powerful thing about this tool set when you're developing personas, and we see this quite often, is let's just say that you're attempting to create brand awareness with people in software development and IT, just as an example. Well, trying to find them at work is typically not a great idea, because you're not going to get that engagement or that focus engagement. These people are, like everybody else, busy. SparkToro will help you identify where people of certain persona groups are actually talking and interacting in other areas, right? So it'll pull up a list of hashtags and the audience size on Twitter. It'll talk about social. It'll talk about podcasts that they listen to. It'll look at YouTube channels. It'll get text insights and demographics. We use it all the time for persona development, and especially account-based marketing, where we want to find out where people are going, not necessarily during their workday, but what else are they consuming, and what kind of content, and where do they interact, and who do they interact with. So a really powerful tool. There is a freemium version at sparktoro.com, and I would strongly suggest checking it out, and you're running through, I can't remember exactly how many free searches you get, but you do get a certain number of free searches, so it fits every budget.
And you know why you want to do that? Because you want to fish where the fish are.
There you go. Absolutely. All right, just around this time, we might actually finish right on time at 5 o'clock today.
I'm like, wow.
How about that?
New year, we're on it.
We are on point. Absolutely. Last up, we're going to talk about some SEO tools and SEO tools giving you lots of audience insight. We do have Semrush. Semrush is far from free. Okay, so let's be honest and clear about that. Having said that, it is one of the best tools, in my opinion, in the market. On all of the tools that they have, it's a really great, worthwhile investment. But if you don't have that budget, there are alternatives. Sheer SEO is a really great alternative. They've got free versions, so you can take care of your rank tracking, link building. You can look at the health of a website, gives you on and off page optimization tools. If you've got a website, you should definitely not be, just posting, like just updating the website and walking away. So Sheer SEO is a great alternative if you don't have a budget or you want to stick within a budget. Having said that, if you're going to go all in, Semrush is an absolute monster, and they continually are adding more and more tools to it.
Yeah, I think our team uses this daily, everything when it comes to content creation. You just don't want to create content for the sake of creating content. You need to understand Yvonne's hand, for instance. You need to understand, motivation, and you can get that with persona development. But this just really helps you kind of really pinpoint what those pieces are. And I know we've talked about it in the past, so I won't get into the weeds with it. But it's like, it kind of reminds me of another saying, like, you can't buy cheap mayonnaise. Like, you need to get the good stuff, right? Because it's invaluable, really, the information you're going to get from that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yvonne, if you turn on your lights, you probably have a better idea.
Yeah, it's dark now, isn't it? Oh no.
It's all good. We're there. It's all good. All right, everybody. Well, those are our 14 almost free tools to help unleash your content creation superpowers. Again, these tools are intended to help you, assist you, not do the job for you. So use it all within your own workflows and use it to your benefit. Don't lean too heavily in on them. But if you implement some of these tools into your workflow, I think what you'll see is faster turnaround times, better quality, ideas being generated, and just generally a happier life, because you won't be just overwhelmed, which content creation can be an extremely overwhelming process to go through. And can cause hives and anxieties and things like that.
And Arctic highlights.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, it is 5 o'clock on the dot. Bam.
Boom.
Wow.
So, look at us go. So thanks, everybody, for joining us for episode 210 of Live at the Hive Digital Marketing from the Trenches. We do have some great stuff coming up in the coming weeks. We will be having our friend Dan Duran on, who is also a podcaster and has his own live stream. Looking forward to talking to him about, I believe, small business security, and that's one of his gigs. We will be rounding up a whole bunch of guests this year in some new formats to get some expert thought and opinion. And you can look forward to that in the coming weeks. So we will see you next week for episode 211 of Live at the Hive Digital Marketing from the Trenches. Same B time, same B channel. Peace.
Later.